Hey, Nicole Havlicek here from Prime Time Pickleball, and today I'm going to be talking about the 5 hacks to playing better pickleball faster. All right, let's dive right into it. So the first thing I want to talk about is quality training. Notice how I didn't just say training. If you're training, that's fantastic. But is it quality? I want you to check yourself on that. Because when I do walk by the pickleball courts and I see players training, I'm very happy, and I especially love to see them training in a certain type of way that is quality. And unfortunately, at times, I see that that's not happening. And I'm going to dive deeper in the rest of these hacks onto what quality training looks like. But what's happening is that things that might take them a year plus to get better at could have taken them months if they had been training just a bit differently and what I call quality, or something that maybe took them months could have taken them weeks. And then you're missing out on what other things you could have been training during that time, that where the training for the current skill could have been done already, right? So if something took you 3 months rather than a year, well, then you have 9 months that you could have used training something else, right? Or getting better at that skill, moving it deeper. So it really adds up because there's a compounding thing to this, and the quality of your training really, really matters. Okay, so let's dive deeper into what some of these quality hacks are that all the strong players I know do. I do this, and any 5.0 plus player I know trains this way because I see it and I talk to them about it. And it's really something that we would love to see intermediate players do more often, because that is what will get you to those advanced levels. It makes such a tremendous difference. Okay, let's dive into some more specifics here. So that was, tip number 1 was quality training, not just training. And moving on right here. So this right here is what we're going to think about as training the toughest possible shot of that shot type. So let's break this down for you a bit here. What I'm doing is drops. It could be 3rd shot, could be 5th shot, could be 7th shot that this drop is required. That's really doesn't matter. As you're playing longer points, you might need to hit a drop later in the point. And what I'm specifically doing here is I'm training it from very deep. Would I be hitting a drop from this far back? Sometimes, yeah, if it makes sense. If I think that I can get that ball low and keep it bouncing low and force them into a low contact, I very well may do that. And everyone should strive to be able to hit quality drops from back here. You will, however, find that often hitting a drive is a good idea from back here, but you certainly want to be able to hit a drop from here when it makes sense to do so. So this is pretty much look at that, how deep that was. This is pretty much the toughest drop you're going to have to hit. Look how deep that was. And I'm hitting pretty quality drops, as you can see. That one landed here. Those are in the kitchen and they're not bouncing very high. Okay, that's one I missed out of, I think, 13 when I counted. That one's a little high. The rest of these are pretty good. That one's good. That one was out and I played it. These, right? So these are all quite good. I'm pretty happy with how these went. So again, this is the toughest drop you're going to be needing to hit. And I do recommend you work your way up to training and sharpening from back here. So you can imagine if you are making them from back here, that means this is an easier drop from here. I'm probably going to be good at those if I can do this one. If I'm hitting from here, I'm going to be good at that because it's easier. It's easier the closer you get. So if you can do it from back here, you're going to automatically improve these because the distance is shorter to hit that good drop, and it's much easier to calibrate and be accurate with a short distance than from a long distance. So I would recommend training the toughest possible shot for the skill that you're working on, with the caveat that I can make these 9 out of 10 times. If you cannot, that is perfectly fine. Do them from here. If you're not making these 9 out of 10 times, no problem. Go up to here. And maybe you're 7 out of 10 or 50-50 from you're standing in this zone hitting the drop. Okay, work on that. That's the toughest drop for you right now. And work that up till when you're hitting 9 out of 10 successfully. Then move back and work from here until you're hitting 9 out of 10 successfully. Then move back here and then all the way back here. And even what I could do is have them, firing in a bit harder. So this is pretty, on the upper edges of the toughest shot you're going to get. I played that out one. But I could maybe raise the machine and have them come in a little bit harder and still hit drops from that. So I too can receive a tougher ball and work on hitting a tougher drop than this. But as far as distance goes, I'm pretty maxed out on what can be done here. All right. So hit the toughest possible shot of the skill that you're training and work your way up to that so that you're making it 9 out of 10 times, at minimum 8 of that type of shot. All right, moving right along to tip number 3, hack number 3 is, I already touched on it, train those out balls. Let's see, look how far out that was. This is the same footage, I believe, but from a different angle. So as you saw, I was making, really quality drops off of even out balls in this case. I think I made, like I said, 12 out of 13. One was a little bit high. What I often see is that players will stop that ball. Players will stop this ball and they'll feed again and go again. Don't stop it. Play it. Okay. That's, like I made that. I made that one too. If you can make tough balls, also the tough balls that are out, that's an even tougher shot when it's out because it was deeper or it was wider. So, and you still made it. Imagine how much confidence that's going to give you. Yes. Do you have to move a bit more? Yes. Do you have to run a bit more? Yes. But hint, hint, players that are better, move better, run faster, move more, can hit a wider shot and still make a good shot, can hit it from deeper and still make a good shot. Don't worry about the lines. Like obviously if it's, coming this way and then gonna hit the fence, well, actually I would still volley that back over. This is how we train. I've, any advanced player that's played a high level of, tennis or pickleball, when we're training, we do that. We save the out balls. That's just naturally what we do. And unfortunately, it's not naturally what intermediate and lower level players do because I see that they're not doing it. Play those out balls, make them. It's going to help your training and it's going to make you improve faster. A, because you're, hitting more shots, stopping the ball less, and B, because those out balls are tough. And when you make them, you're only going to make yourself better. All right. So that was number 3. Moving right along to hack number 4 is quality footwork. That includes split stepping. That includes moving to the ball and being balanced as you hit it and recovering. I want to show you, I'm not going to dive deep on split stepping here, but I made a very detailed video about footwork, split stepping, and movement. I'll link to it in the description, but if you want to go to the Primetime Pickleball channel and hit videos, scroll a little bit down, it's that one right there. But like I said, I'm going to link to it in the description, and it covers all of this in detail. But I just want to remind you and point out that quality training is going to include moving in that way I described there. And all the details about how to do it are broken down in terms of like where to place your feet and things like that. So I won't cover that here, but as you can see, I'm always moving, and I'm split stepping every time. It might not be a pronounced split step, but I am pushing off and am ready to go in any direction needed. And I'm always getting that back foot planted really well behind the shot to give myself a good spacing. And when I move out to the shot, as I think is coming up right here, I move out to the shot, I'm balanced, and I make footwork so that I can recover. And again, how to make that footwork is covered in the other video. So, but quality movement is a part of quality training, and it's continuous. You are never really flat-footed and standing. You shouldn't be. And the last thing I want to talk about is patience with your quality training. Change doesn't happen overnight. It happens incrementally. And when you're making progress and chipping away at things every day, so you have to be consistent with your training, minimum of 3 times a week, 3 to 5 is good. And doing it quality. A bigger change could take a few months. A small to medium change could take a few weeks, and then you're forever keeping it sharp. So there's really no end to training. There's building the skill, and then there's keeping the skill. And you basically have to, once you have the skill, you have to keep getting the reps in on it to keep it sharp. So that's basically how improvement goes. But when you're building the skill, start with slower shots and move closer in the court, and then move back. So add distance and add speed. That's what'll make it harder. And as you get better and make those harder and deeper shots, that's skill improvement, right? So be patient with yourself, be kind to yourself, because that doesn't happen overnight. Be positive. You're going to have some tough days. So it's a process for everybody. No matter what level of skill you're at, start where you are and build from there, and focus on yourself and not other people. Okay. So just remind yourself, even if you have a bad day, that you're going to come back the next day, you're going to clean the slate. Remind yourself of the things that you are working on, in particular with that skill. Maybe it's moving your feet more. Maybe it's getting low. Maybe it's shortening the swing and not hitting so much when you're trying to hit a soft shot. Like whatever those, no more than 3 objectives, preferably just like 2 to think about, because otherwise it's overwhelming. Get out there, execute on those 1 to 3 things, do your best at it, and come back the next day. And if you think about it, a month in, you may be like, oh, I really haven't improved. Well, and you're not hitting the shot at the top level in the world, but think about how you were hitting it a month ago or 2 months ago. Has it improved? Are you hitting from deeper? Are you able to handle faster balls? Chances are you are. So celebrate the incremental wins. It doesn't happen all at once. It's a process for everybody, myself and any other advanced player, and even Ben Johns, even the top players in the world. It's a process to get better at whatever it is that they're working on. That's just how it goes. So these are the 5 hacks to getting better faster. Your training really compounds when you're quality training in this way. So please take this to heart. Train like this every time that you're out there. You'll be amazed at how much better you're getting faster than if you're not doing these things. It really makes a massive difference. The compounding is incredible. And that's why advanced players can get there. It's because they are training with a high level of quality. Certainly quantity matters, but if the quality's not there, that's really going to slow things down and ultimately just not get you there. And you might be scratching your head wondering as to why you're not getting there. Take a look at these things. It's probably something in this realm rather than the fact that you're not training. It comes down to how you're training. All right, get out there and get that quality training in.